Welcome back to the special edition of Hannity. Now, despite the explosive Horowitz findings that detailed massive surveillance abuse and FISA fraud against Carter Page and the Trump campaign, the congenital liar, corrupt Adam Schiff is still showing no remorse for perpetuating a years-long hoax and spreading FISA lies. Take a look.
Carter Page says that the FBI spying into his life ruined his good name. That's a quote. He also says that he will, quote, never completely have his name restored. Do you feel any sympathy for Carter Page?
I have to say, Carter Page came before our committee and for hours of his testimony. Denied things that we knew were true, later had to admit them during his testimony. It's also hard to be sympathetic when you have someone who is admitted to being an advisor to the Kremlin.
But then was also informing the CIA.
Yes, yes.
Which we didn't know about.
Incredible. Really. That should shock the conscience. Carter Page was smeared for years, accused of being a traitor, all based on lies, innuendo, and a phony dossier. And Adam Schiff doesn't have the guts to even admit he was wrong and show a little remorse. And this is the same liar, by the way, who wrote the now debunked FISA memo and was given the green light to run the Democrats' impeachment witch hunt. He's corrupt to the core. It's undeniable. Now, the good news is the boomerang of justice is in full swing. Because not only is John Durham honing in on the actions of ex-CIA Director John Brennan, but according to a new report in the New York Times, Durham got into a, quote, sharp dispute over a draft footnote in the Horowitz report that implied Durham agreed with all of the IG's conclusions, including political bias. Now, the footnote was not included in the final report, suggesting Durham is uncovering convincing evidence refuting Horowitz's conclusions. From Comey to Clapper to Brennan. Some of America's most powerful bureaucrats abuse their power to try and undo the results of a presidential election. The time for accountability is now. Joining me now for reaction is author of the book Power Grab, Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz, along with author of the great book Witch Hunt, Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett, and Fox News contributor and investigative reporter John Solomon, who's reporting I've come to rely on extensively. Thanks, guys, all for joining us. Greg, I'll go to you first. This thing with Carter Page, Greg, is an abomination, and it's not hyperbole. We have a Naval Academy graduate who has never been charged with any crime, who is actually doing work now, we know, for an intelligence agency thought to be the CIA, to nail Russians working in this country to hurt this country. The FBI then targets this guy and manipulates an email to suggest that his contacts with those said Russians were on behalf of some nefarious, treasonous act. I mean, this is one of the most disgusting episodes of malfeasance I've ever seen in law enforcement.
And James Comey knew it because when the first stories started to appear late summer of 2016, identifying Carter Page, Page sends a letter to Comey saying it's not true. I've been helping the CIA.
That's right.
I'd be happy to sit down and talk with you. Comey ignored the letter and sought a FISA warrant. But Adam Schiff is one of the first people to publicly accuse Carter Page of being a Russian spy before the FISA warrant situation. And you just played a clip of Schiff accusing Carter Page of lying in front of the Intelligence Committee. Completely untrue. The testimony was November 2nd, 2017. I've read it a dozen times. Whole portions of it are repeated in my book. Carter Page told the truth. If it were otherwise, he would have been accused of and prosecuted for perjury. No, Adam Schiff continues to lie. And if I invite people to actually read the transcript. It's online. Carter Page not only tells the truth, but Adam Schiff makes an absolute fool of himself trying on cross-examination to get Carter Page to admit that merely shaking the hand of a Kremlin official and saying hello is somehow the hobgoblin of a grand conspiracy to commit a treasonous act and steal the 2016 election. Adam Schiff, in his contorted and twisted mind, may still believe it, and it's ludicrous.
No, it's a stain on our country. It's a disgusting episode. John, I'll go to you. Your reporting has been just spectacular. I have relied on it extensively, and it's good to see now even some in the media who had tried to tarnish your reputation are now starting to come around, realize you were right the whole time. I know you've got some, they are stubborn things. I know you've got some information on Comey, but it's obvious now that Comey lied. I saw a footnote this weekend, footnote 323.
That's right.
Comey had told President Trump in this January 7, 2017 meeting, we weren't really investigating the dossier. It's salacious and unverified. Footnote 323 says they were not only investigating it, they were sending FBI agents overseas to investigate Steele's sources. This guy, I mean, it really, his reputation has got to be finished.
It is, and some of the lies that he's told to Congress or misstatements are really serious issues. For instance, he says at one point, I didn't know that the Carter page had been opened up on in the spring of 2016. That was one of the revelations in the IG report. And in fact, there's notes from Pete Strzok showing he was in a meeting with James Comey and they talked about it. Same thing about Bruce Orr. He didn't know about Bruce Orr in the back doorway. They were getting Steele's information in after Steele's fired. There's Strzok's notes there saying he was in a meeting where he briefed him on Bruce Orr. James Comey has an issue now, and I think as Durham advances this criminal investigation, there's a high probability they're going to look at him for false statements.
You know, that's fascinating because that whole information laundering scheme they're running with Bruce Orr, again, another thing, just another lie in the just a bevy of Comey lies he's told. Crazy. Congressman Chaffetz, one of the things that's bothered me is the media malfeasance in this. We said Joe Concha on, he studies media for a living. But they keep suggesting that the IG report says there's no political bias. That is not what the report said. Matter of fact, Horowitz's own words in front of the Senate committee were clear. Although I didn't find a document saying, yes, we opened up on Trump because we hate him and he's politically biased, he said it was one of two things. It was either gross negligence or political bias. Just goes to show you how the media will take anything and spin it for the Democrats' narrative.
And also what the Inspector General said is that he could not look at it, he could not demonstrate definitively one way or the other if any bias was injected into itself in the actual FISA applications. What he said is he couldn't find Mr. Priestep that he had documented any sort of bias. He was the senior-most person that started this operation, but that's like not even a page of a 450-page IG report. If anybody thinks they were exonerated or cleared, are you kidding me? I mean, Comey takes it in the shorts for the fifth time in over 1,000 pages now documented from the Inspector General. So good luck with that, Mr. Comey.
I want to get just a quick answer from the three of you on this because I'm genuinely curious about this. How much trouble do you think, I'll go with you, Greg, first, John Brennan is in? And the reason I ask it is, at one point during the sworn testimony of Lisa Page, she tells Congressman Mark Meadows under oath that she would be genuinely stunned if the CIA was getting information from Steele. In other words, it seems like Brennan may have been, I'm not giving the FBI a pass, believe me, Comey lied throughout this whole thing. But it seems at some point that if there was a puppet master of this from the intel side, it may have been John Brennan.
Well, I call Brennan the instigator in my book. He created, before there was a Steele dossier, an interagency task force that was the original foundation. You know this, John. Absolutely. It was the foundation for the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. And so I think Brennan has a lot to answer for, and I think Durham may be looking at false statements insofar as Brennan is concerned.
John, on
Greg has it exactly right. I think that interagency task force is going to be one of the places that get cracked open by Durham. We're going to learn a lot. Also, on the issue of bias, the biggest bias that was ever injected into this investigation was the Steele dossier. He admitted he was desperate to defeat Trump, and the FBI used that to go to the FISA court. Bias is all over this investigation. Anyone who says it isn't is blind to it.
And Weissman knew it. Congressman, how much trouble do you think John Brennan is in this?
He's in a lot of trouble. I agree with the other two, but I would also say, Dan, follow the money. There are millions of dollars that flowed from the Democrats overseas, and Durham is able to go look at that. It's something Horowitz couldn't look at. That is going to tell a lot about the travesty that was done here.
Jason, Greg, John, thanks, guys. You were great. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.